Pseudo-spirituality, this is a term that I coined back 2022, 2023, when I realized just how much of a presence it had become in the world of healing and spiritual practice. What the heck do I mean by pseudo-spirituality? Well, this is when someone wears the role of healer as a costume. They put on the mask and the facade and they present themselves as all love and light, safe and trustworthy, deeply gifted, but underneath the surface, it's bullshit. It's nonsense. It's not real. The mask eventually slips, and what you find is not a safe space at all, not someone with integrity, and not someone who should be holding others in their most vulnerable moments. Like pseudo-spirituality is incredibly damaging. Um, and this is absolutely a pitfall, because it's easy to confuse performance with practice. Some people step into the role of healer not because they're called to it, but because they see it as an opportunity. I've seen people pretend to be psychics, mediums, deeply trained healers, when the harsh reality is they don't have those abilities or that background. And what's more concerning here is that many of them come from strong marketing or business industries where they've recognized that spirituality and healing are, well, they're booming markets, and they're booming markets for a reason, because people are searching for answers. They're looking for relief. They're looking for someone to help them through their pain. And these pseudo spiritual practitioners capitalize on that need. Messed up, right? Yes. They're masters at branding, at presentation, at polished messaging, and they put on the costume of healer to build a following and make money. Well, essentially stealing the space from those who are actually called and equipped to do this work. For practitioners who are genuine, this is something to be cautious of. The temptation to perform, to lean heavily on branding, to present a curated image of love and light, without the deeper work behind it. It's strong in an environment where pseudo spirituality is thriving right now. But wearing the costume without the substance not only misleads clients, it causes harm. It's very damaging. It can betray trust. It can create unsafe experiences for those who are already vulnerable. And the saddest part is it dilutes what authentic healing work really is. Okay, it dilutes the industry. The pitfall for real practitioners is slipping into pseudo-spiritual patterns without realizing that we're doing that. Maybe it starts with projecting a perfect image on social media, avoiding showing the messiness of your own practice, hiding behind certain spiritual language because it sounds good, makes you sound like you know what you're doing and you know everything, even if it doesn't reflect how you actually live or work. Inauthenticity. It can feel easier to put on the costume than to show up fully as yourself. But if you do that, the mask will slip, and that's where clients are going to feel the disconnects. Okay, this is where the damage is going to start coming in. The work of a true practitioner isn't about creating an image of being endlessly calm and endlessly wise and endlessly healing. It's about being authentic. It's about being you, congruent, rooted in your own practice. Do you practice what you teach? Do you walk your talk? It's about doing the inner work as much as the outer work, so that what you're offering comes from depth and experience, not performance and pretending, or from the costume that you're putting on. As practitioners, the invitation is to stay mindful of where pseudo-spirituality shows up around us and within us. We need to ask ourselves whether we're practicing or performing, whether what we present aligns with who we really are, and whether we're committed to, doing the real, often very unglamorous work of healing. And that's how we keep our practices safe. We keep them grounded and we keep them authentic in a world that often confuses the costume with the calling. So as a practitioner, I do encourage you to do self-reflection here around this topic of pseudo-spirituality. Are you coming into sessions with your clients as you? Are you coming in dressed as you? Or are you putting on a facade? Are you putting on a mask? Are you pretending to be wiser than you are? Are you pretending to be more knowledgeable than you are? Are you pretending to be psychic when you don't have any psychic abilities? This is a very important conversation to have with yourself, because I definitely would like to see more influx of genuine, authentic practitioners coming in and pushing the pseudo-spirituality out. So pseudo-spirituality comes in, as I've mentioned, you've got these people from marketing, corporate backgrounds that they know business, they know marketing, they, understand consumer psychology, they understand how to manipulate clients into purchasing, and their businesses are booming. And that leaves us, that like genuine practitioners, well, these is out in the cold, well, where's all the clients? Going to the pseudo-spiritual marketers next door. But the problem is that these pseudo-spiritual marketers are, well, they don't know what the hell they're doing. They really don't know what they're doing. And while this will eventually catch up with them, because they're so good at marketing and branding and putting on the front, they'll keep that influx of clients coming in. And honestly, whenever I see anyone in the spiritual realm being, six-figure business owner, I'm like, are you real? Or are you just wearing the costume of healer? The other side to pseudo-spirituality is those that have had huge healing shifts or transformations. They've gone for a healing session and were deeply moved, or they work through a portion of their deep trauma, and because they had such a huge breakthrough and such a massive transformation in that session, they now want to offer that to the rest of the world. And while this is very normal, there's some psychology that comes into this. It's not healthy. And because you've had a huge breakthrough or transformation and you're like, wow, this is amazing, everyone else should experience this, rather recommend your practitioner than you going out and becoming a practitioner when you're not supposed to be a practitioner. Just because you've healed from a traumatic event doesn't automatically make you a healer for others. Okay, we need to create some space and some differentiation here, because unfortunately we're having an influx of people coming into the practitioner space that have had huge shifts and transformations, and they're like, oh my god, I want to offer this to the rest of the world. Recommend the practitioner that did that for you, instead of trying to take that on for yourself, because unfortunately these are the ones that also then put on the costume as healer, because they're not actually called to be a healer. They just have the psychological need and desire to, this felt good for me, and I want everyone else to feel as good as I felt. Like I say, it's normal psychology, but it's not a good reason to become a healer or a practitioner. And here I see a very big pitfall in the practitioners that I've met that have come from this space. And it's important to note here that those of us that are naturally gifted, we are called to the path, we do go through the fire. We do go through huge transformations and healings and processes and shifts so that we can take our clients through the things that we've been through. But we go through multiple of these. We go through numerous of these. And the ones that we go through are 10 times that one session that this person has had. So one massive change does not make you a practitioner. Okay. Another space of pseudo-spirituality is those who are called to the path, and I have touched on this, and because they don't feel confident in themselves, they don't feel secure in themselves, they don't feel like, do I know enough? Am I good enough? Imposter syndrome is a good driving force behind this one, that they, instead of stepping up as themselves and just being themselves, they hide behind the mask of perfect practitioner. Sure, I can do that for you. Absolutely, my healing modality can do that for you. Yes, I can work with you. But you can't, and you shouldn't be. So there's kind of three layers to the pseudo-spirituality conversation. There's the shitty marketing business people that really shouldn't be there. Like no more six-figure spiritual coaches, please, like go away, leave our industry alone. You're saturating the waters with murkiness. Those who have had one-off healing shifts and transformations and are like, oh my God, I need to go and do this for the rest of the world. Recommend your practitioner that did that for you. They're the ones who are supposed to be doing the work, not you. And those who are called to the path and are too scared to show up as themselves. If you are not sure if you're falling into the realm of pseudo-spirituality, book a clarity call with me. Let's have a half an hour discussion about this. I will happily work you through it. And if you are called to the path and you're scared to show up as yourself, as your authentic self, you're like, I don't know how to do that, or people are going to like me, and what if everyone hates me? Book a call with me. Let's have the conversation. Okay, like you're not going on this by yourself. That's what TAM is for. So come and have the conversation with me. But let's us as a community of practitioners, let's start working to root out this very sad influx of pseudo-spirituality that's I'm absolutely seeing a day in and day out in our industry. Let's recommend those who have got the calling, who are naturally gifted. Like this is their purpose for being here. Let's recommend those practitioners. Let's step back and create space for those who are supposed to be doing this work. Let's stop supporting the fake six-figure practitioners because they look all nice and shiny, like they have their shit together. And if you have had a huge shift or a huge transformation and you're like, this is amazing and I want the rest of the world to feel this, recommend the practitioner that did that for you. Let's start building a safer and more reputable space for people to come to us as practitioners, because at the moment there is a huge influx of people shifting towards spirituality and healing, and they're looking for these things because modern systems and frameworks, they're not working for them. They're not giving them what it is that they need. So they're now looking at other avenues. And unfortunately, there are these unsafe avenues that a lot of them are wandering down. And because they're coming, like I say, in that space of vulnerability, there is so much damage and harm being caused around pseudo-spirituality. So let's weed it out, let's call it out, and let's start recommending real practitioners. And don't perform. Don't put the costume on. If you're called to the path, be you. You were called to the path, not your costume, not the performance and the mask and the facade. That wasn't called to the path. You were called to the path. You are what is needed. You are what needs to show up in sessions. You are what needs to show up as the front face of your business, your social media presence, your website. Don't worry about being perfect. Don't worry about being polished. Like, some of the people with the worst websites out there are some of the most successful practitioners because they're showing up as themselves. Web design isn't their forte, or it's not what they're good at. Healing is what they're good at. So let's weed out the pseudo-spirituality. If you are not called to this path, step off it. Please step off it, because you're causing more harm than good. And let's start building better credibility in our space. Let's build safer containers in this space. And let's do better as practitioners.